So, welcome, dear devotees. Thank you very much for joining us. I'd like to seek your good wishes and your blessings so that we can try to understand a little bit more of Lord Krishna's instructions in the Bhagavad Gita, the nectar of the Bhagavad Gita. So before we start, we can read this comment by a professor.
I have had the opportunity of examining several volumes published by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust and have found them to be of excellent quality and of great value for use in college classes on Indian religions. This is particularly true of the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust edition and translation of the Bhagavad Gita by Dr. Frederick Underwood, Department of Religion, Columbia University, New York.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, chapter 17, very, very interesting because Krishna gives specific examples how to live in this world in the best way. So he talks about food that we eat, which is what we discussed a few days ago. What are the best foods? What are not so good foods? Talks about sacrifice, talks about how worship, we can do the best worship, how our speech, how we can speak in the best way, austerities that we perform, penances that we perform, so many different things. It guides us. I wanted to focus in on one before we read the verses. And that is our speech. Socrates, a Greek philosopher, one time one man came to him and he said to him, I want to tell you something about somebody. And Socrates said, okay, I've got 3 tests before you tell me what do you want to tell me. You have to pass these 3 tests. Is it truthful that what you want to tell me? And the man said, I'm not sure, might be, might not be. Okay, let's park that aside for a minute. Is it nice what you're going to tell me? And the man said, no, it's not nice. Okay. And the third test is, you have to pass all of them, by the way. The third test is it going to help me? What are you going to tell me? Is it going to help me? And this man said, no, it's not going to help you. Then Socrates said to this man, okay, in that case, go and tell somebody else. Now, funny enough, in the Bhagavad Gita, whether Socrates had read the Bhagavad Gita, I'm sure he had actually, because he was a great philosopher. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says exactly the same 3 tests apply to speech. If you look at text 15 on the screen, austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, and beneficial. Those are the 3 tests which Socrates also applied. Krishna applies the same tests for good speech. So that's very, very interesting. So, who would like to read? Ritesh, you haven't read. You might be working, so it might be hard. Okay.
Yeah, Prabhu, if you want, I can.
Oh, great. Thank you. Yes, it'd be nice.
Is it what's on the screen? I should read that?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Chapter 17, the divisions of faith. Text 14. Austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. And satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind. This threefold austerity performed with transcendental faith by men not expecting material benefits but engaged only for the sake of the Supreme is called austerity in goodness. Penance performed out of pride and for the sake of gaining respect, honor, and worship is said to be in the mode of passion. It is neither stable nor permanent. Penance performed out of foolishness with self-torture or to destroy or injure others is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. So the summary of, thank you, Ritesh, appreciate that. The summary of these 6 verses is, in order to achieve anything in this world, we have to undergo some austerity. Right? If we want to become a professional, an accountant or a doctor, we have to study. We have to put a lot of effort in. That's austerity. And in order to sacrifice some immediate pleasure and comfort, we want to work for the purpose of the long-term benefit. And we place faith in different things. We perform different types of austerities because we know we're going to get some benefit out of performing those austerities. So Krishna explains beneficial austerities pertaining to the body, the mind, and the words, and also the varying motivations with which one may perform them, i.e., whether it's goodness, passion, or ignorance. Those are the 3 things, the factors that really drive our approach to doing anything: goodness, passion, ignorance. So what is the lesson from this? Austerity is important. What's the spiritual austerity that we should do? So Srila Prabhupada often said that our austerity in this age of Kali is to observe Ekadashi. And fortunately for all of us, Ekadashi falls tomorrow. So if anybody's not doing Ekadashi, it's a really good fast to do. And that's our austerity in this age of Kali. We fast on Ekadashi. Every 2 weeks, we avoid grains and beans. And actually, it's not a real austerity because one is allowed to eat. One can eat fruits, have milk, water, have non-grain meals. That generally includes potatoes, baked potatoes, root vegetables. No, I'm not sure about that. But anyway, generally we try to keep it to a very simple diet. I remember when I used to fast on Ekadashi, and at the same time we used to eat Ekadashi prasad. I used to eat more Ekadashi prasad than I used to eat normal prasad because it was so delicious. So then we decided I'm not going to actually eat on Ekadashi because it was not very good austerity because we used to eat more than we should be eating normally. But this Ekadashi, if one wants to do it to get the maximum benefit, is to do it without any water or food, fruits, nothing at all. But the whole aim of Ekadashi is actually not to fast. It's actually to remember God, to remember Him more than on a normal day. So the time we don't eat, we'll remember Krishna. We try to reduce the sort of bodily needs on Ekadashi so that our focus is on the Supreme Lord. That's the whole point of Ekadashi. If we are fasting and we're just thinking of our stomach and forgetting Krishna, then we've missed the point of the fast. It's better to eat something, an Ekadashi prasad, and remember Krishna rather than not eating and forgetting Krishna. But this is our austerity. We have to do some austerity. We're all doing it automatically. In order to go to work sometimes, of course not maybe nowadays, you have to travel for 2 hours going one way and then travel 2 hours going the other way. That's our austerity. So if in this material world, for anything we do, there's austerity, what to speak of to achieve spiritual benefit? What sort of austerities we have to perform? So we're very lucky. In the previous ages, the saints, the sages, they would have to meditate for very long periods of time, focus their mind on the Supreme Lord for very, very long periods of time. And that was their austerity. They would sometimes, like Krishna explains in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, they would sit with their back straight, eyes pointed, looking at the nose, on deer skin, not be disturbed for very long periods of time. But in Kali Yuga, we know we can't do that. However, what we can do is we can abstain from eating every 2 weeks. And this is not just good for the soul, it's also good for the body. Because if we're constantly eating all the time, we're not giving the digestive system a rest. So giving it a rest once every 2 weeks is actually very beneficial for the body as well. So this austerity, we call it an austerity, but actually it's not an austerity. It's actually a pleasure. It's an honor to observe Ekadashi. It's a blessing, and Ekadashi is a personality very dear to the Lord. And when we observe Ekadashi, she also sends her blessings, which actually are very, very powerful. And this is one austerity where one can perform this austerity and give the spiritual benefits one acquires away. So if you have some loved ones who are perhaps going through a little difficult time, you can fast for the day, and the next day in the morning, before you finish your fast, before you complete the fast with some grains, you can pray to the Lord, you can pray to Mother Ekadashi, my dear mother, please avoid half of the punya karma, or the half of the spiritual benefit from what we have done, our austerity, to whoever. And that will be done. Because in the last Ekadashi, for example, all the Brahmins, all the citizens of the kingdom fasted for the benefit of a king to get a son. And that fast worked. So every Ekadashi, there's a special story, special katha, which describes that Ekadashi. Of course, we're not after the benefits of the Ekadashi. We just want to please the Supreme Lord by performing this austerity. So that's our motivation, to please the Lord. So this austerity is a very nice austerity. This austerity will show the Lord as well that one is serious about Him. If somebody cannot fast because perhaps taking medicine, that's fine. Our Guru Maharaj was on maybe 10 or 12 tablets every single day. And when it came to Ekadashi, he didn't stop the medicine. He continued with the medication, because we are living in a world where we have to maintain this body. And with medicine, sometimes you need to take food. So there's no problem taking the food. Just make sure it's not dal, rice, chapati, like that. So I wanted to ask Madhusudan Babu. Okay.
He's on the phone at the moment.
Oh, no problem. No, we can catch up.
Yeah, he'll be back as soon as it's finished, okay?
Okay, that's fine. No worries, no worries. Thank you. So any questions, any comments? Otherwise, I'm going to pick on a few people. Naliwen.
Yes, it's true that it's rather than eat something simple, rather than fast completely and think about food. I mean, that's very true. But important thing is to stick to a simple diet, like something simple. They also say not to, some people have a habit of snoozing or bit of a snooze in the afternoon. They say not to do even that on the Ekadashi day.
Yeah, if it's possible, avoid resting during the daytime, and preferably at night as well. Yeah, it's a bit tough to stay up all night because our bodies are not so strong. But we've been trying recently, and it's been not too bad. It's not been too bad. But yes, eat something and focus rather than not eat and not and not focus at all.
Yes.
Very good. So, Naliben, can I ask, you've been doing Ekadashi?
Yes, yes.
Oh, good, good. Well done, well done.
Yeah, my mother used to do, so we have followed that. But
Oh, okay.
my
So
mother,
you've been doing it for a long time, huh?
yes, we have been doing it for a long time, but sometimes, you know, when health or when you're not well or then sometimes I do, at times I don't do it, but most of the time I do it.
Okay, that's good. There's one Ekadashi that comes in the summer, in June time. It's called Pandav Nirjal Ekadashi.
Yes.
That one is one which, if one follows that properly, without any water even, then it's, if we missed any Ekadashi for any reason, it's forgiven, basically.
And
So,
they also said that we shouldn't water the Tulsi Mataji on
Dwadashi.
yeah, on Dwadashi, we generally don't pick the Tulsi because she's weak from the Ekadashi. But I'm not sure about water. Watering is acceptable, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
I believe watering is okay.
I don't know, someone put out a thing.
Right. But as far as, I haven't really come across anywhere that not watering on Ekadashi. But I know that one shouldn't pick leaves on Dwadashi.
Which is the day following. Yeah.
Which is the day following, yeah.
Yeah, because when you I think I hear conflicting stories about watering, but when you are in the when you are praying for Tulsi Mataji in the morning, when you take rounds around it, then they do water, isn't it? You do water it every day.
Yeah, that's watered every day. She's watered every day.
So I think
That's correct. That's correct. Actually, you're right. She is watered every single day.
yeah. So that means that we have to water only also on Ekadashi day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So, anybody else? Anything else? So I'm going to pick on a few people now. Especially, I'm going to pick on Sanjana. Hare Krishna, Sanjana.
Hare Krishna.
So, what do you think? Ekadashi.
Yeah, I think me and my mom are gonna try it tomorrow. Is that correct, Mom?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So Sanjana and Henna Mataji, yeah? Very nice.
Yes.
Very good. And what are you thinking of doing?
I think we're gonna try just with fruits because it's our first try.
Fruits and milk.
Fruits and milk. Yeah.
Yeah. Are we not?
I don't know.
Does Ekadashi mean not having even one meal? So without grains is fine. Yeah, no problem. What else is the rule? No garlic, no onion.
Yeah, that's
what
right.
else?
No, that it's a simple fast. You can actually eat as many times as you want. Ideally, if you're going to eat, just eat in the evening. That's first class. But if that's too tough, you can eat in the afternoon. That's fine. And if that's too tough, you can eat in the morning. You can eat several times. You can have fruits. You can do morio. You can do like Ekadasi sabji with potato.
What's morio? Sorry?
Samo.
Samo khichdi.
Sorry, I don't know that as well. What's that? Is it like sort of khichdi with vegetables? Is that what you're...
You can have vegetables in it. Just avoid things like peas. What else do you need? Sweet corn, things like that. You can have carrots in there, peppers, potatoes, green banana, things like that. Sweet potato, those sort of vegetables.
But this khichdi is not the one with rice and dal, huh? This is a samo.
No,
samo is a special seed. It's a special
sago,
seed.
right? I think you call it sabudana. So sago.
Okay. Sabudana.
That's different as well. Samo is like little white grains. It's called samo.
Yeah.
The other one's sago.
Yeah. Sago we try to avoid actually, Ritesh, because in the process of making it, there's some process in that which we can't trust. So we
Might be some
avoid
mixture.
we avoid sabudana, saigo.
Oh, wow.
Only-
So
I think it's better if we just stick to
I
fruits.
think, yeah, just fruits and milk, I think, because I'm not sure about
Or you
the-
can have jacket potato, if you like, or roast potatoes, things like that.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, because
thank
it's
you.
your first time. You
Don't push yourself.
Yeah, just
Okay.
slowly get into it. If you have to eat a few times, don't worry. Just get into the practice of every 2 weeks, giving your stomach a little rest.
Yeah,
Without
definitely.
grains, your stomach just gets a little rest, you know.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And just a message for you, Henna Ben, that your daughter is amazing.
Oh, thanks to
She
you,
now
I
belongs.
guess. Isn't it?
She now belongs to the Lord, you know.
Yeah, well, she's got a good teacher, so probably why.
No, we know you've taught her already. So, okay, thank you, Sanjana. That's really good. Thank you very, very much, Sanjana.
Okay, thank you very much. And thanks for all the advice.
That's okay. Gita, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, I
Hare
was just going to share my experience of when I first
Yes.
started fasting.
Yes, that's good.
So a
Yes.
few years ago, I remember when I heard the word Ekadashi, I thought, oh my goodness, because I'm such a foodie and I'm always love to eat all the time. So at first I thought, oh my God, how am I going to survive? I won't be able to survive, no food. But then the best way I thought for me, especially being a migraine sufferer, so so what I do, I just tend to have a bit of fruit. And if I really am suffering quite bad, I just have a potato subsidy, or even jacket potato. And I just keep hydrated with lots of water and fresh juice.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah. Actually, a good thing to have to avoid acidity is lemon water with sugar.
Limbu pani.
Nimbu pani.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My mom loves that as well, so she's very delighted to hear that.
That's alkaline, and that will stop you being acidic as well. And so that's a good thing for Ekadashi.
You can also have mogo, isn't it? Mogo of cassava.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cassava, sweet potato.
Yeah.
Don't get me going, guys. The Ekadashi meal, Ekadashi is the most delicious day. You can really dive in, but the whole idea of Ekadashi is not to dive in. So, thank you, Gita, for sharing. Very, very nice.
And also it's very good for the mind. It's good to detox as well. Not only for the body, but for the mind. It helps every 2 weeks.
Right, because you don't have to worry about the prasad. Is that why? Is that what you're thinking?
But I think it's about, because on normal day you just think, if you're bored or something, or you're stressed, you think, I just want to eat. But then when you know every 2 weeks, you control your mind to say, okay, I know it's Ekadashi, gonna take it easy, detox the mind, detox the body.
Right, that's good attitude.
Yeah, then chant more, read more, do the bhajans.
Good. Excellent. That's good. Okay. Anybody else would like to share anything about Ekadashi? Pitamba.
I would love to.
Yes, Pitamba.
I find Ekadashi absolutely brilliant in the sense of cleaning the stomach out. I mean, obviously the chanting and everything, but I think what it does to your body, you only realize a day later that how much stress you actually put your body through just by the process of eating, and also unnecessary eating as well.
Yeah.
Not eating on time. And and I always remember the Salacham when I had to do the Nirjal as well, which you helped me do first time. And yeah, that was that was painful when I could feel it, in my muscles and everything. It's just the body telling you, you know, it could do with a good detox.
Yeah, yeah.
It's absolutely lovely.
No, that's good. That's good. No, thank you for sharing that.
Babaji, do you like my setup for tomorrow?
So let's have a look. Okay, good, very good.
Nice, isn't it?
Let's just spotlight you. Let's just do that. Okay, nice. Okay, so this is your for tomorrow background, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
Very
definitely.
nice. Very nice.
This is going to be exciting. I thought, let's go for it.
Very good. Yeah, we'll talk about tomorrow in a little while. Thank you for that. Very nice. Very good. Hare Krishna. Thank you for sharing, Pitamba. Anybody else? Nani Ben?
Yeah, what it's nothing for today, but what Madhusudan Prabhuji discussed day before, yes, 2 days back. You know, not the austerity, the philanthropics like Bill Gates and those that do all this work, charitable work.
Yes.
It doesn't seem to be an excellent, good idea, even though it's benefiting millions of people. I didn't understand that.
Okay, that's our next topic. Very good.
Okay.
That's our next topic.
All right.
So let's talk about that in the next theme. I will pick that up. And if we don't answer your question, just raise it again. Huh?
Sure. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That's very good. Very good. And this is exactly the forum to air any doubts, because we all have doubts. And one person will have a doubt and another person will be thinking that same doubt. So it's very nice when devotees say, hey, I don't understand this point. It's not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength, because it means you've understood something and you want to further explanation. So it's very good. Thank you, Naniben. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Anybody else want to comment about Ekadashi? Does anybody feel we shouldn't fast? Don't have to fast, because it's not compulsory. I don't want to put anybody in a situation where, oh, I have to fast, otherwise I'll go to hell. No, you won't go to hell. It's just this helps us on our way to Krishna. It's not that Krishna's forcing us to do anything against our will. So I just wanted to just mention that point. Not fasting will not take you to hell, but fasting will bring closer to Krishna much quicker, especially on Ekadashi. Oh, does anybody want to understand what is Ekadashi? Because that we can discuss a little bit tomorrow, because every Ekadashi we do a katha where we talk about Ekadashi and the reasons and how to do it, etc. So if you want to know more about that, okay, hang on, and decline. If you want to know more about Ekadashi, please join us tomorrow at 8 o'clock. We'll have a quick discussion on Ekadashi. Okay, I'm going to assume nobody's got any further points, huh? Very important area because it's something that you can actually put into practice and have an impact on you. Okay. Okay, actually, Nani Ben, you can read this. Or who else is there? Maybe Sanjana, or yeah, Sanjana, or your mother can read even.
Yeah, hang on, she's just coming over.
Okay.
On the screen, I've just got I've not got the text at the moment.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Okay, let me. Yeah, sorry about that.
If you can't see, let me get the book for you.
She can see. Okay, there you go.
Okay, clarity given out of duty without expectation of return at the proper time and place, and to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness. Text 21. But charity performed with the expectation of some return, or with a desire for fruitive results, or in a grudging mood, is said to be charity in the mode of passion. And charity performed at an impure place, at an improper time, to unworthy person, or without proper attention and respect, is said to be in a mode of ignorance.
Thank you very much, Hannah.
Yeah.
Navin. Very, very nice.
Thank you.
So this is another theme about Krishna is explaining the different types of charities according to the mode a person is in. So in Sattvagun, he explains this is the type of charity. In Rajagun, passion, this is what they would give, how they would give charity. And then Tamagun, he explains how a person in that mode would give charity, which is really not good. But let's just analyze that a little bit more. The innate quality of the soul is to serve. Right? That we all have this basic quality. It's our constitutional position to serve. We always want to do something for others, or even ourselves. We want to serve our senses or our pets. If we don't like to serve the country, or we don't like to serve our mother and father or the community, ultimately we'll serve our own senses. And thus, we find a charitable disposition within everyone. Everybody has this willingness to give. There was one time when Prabhupada was in 26th 2nd Avenue in New York, a homeless man came in with some tissues in the middle of the class, and he interrupted the class, but he went through the room and into the toilet, put the rolls down, and then went back out again. And Prabhupada commented, see, even he is willing to serve. Right? So this disposition is within everyone to a greater or lesser extent. According to one's faith, they make efforts to help others. Krishna discusses the different types of charity and explains that to truly benefit people, charity must be performed within certain parameters. So the lesson from this, we've talked about this a few times, so I won't linger on this too long. But then I wanted to go through some of the aspects of the three modes and charitable disposition. But nobody likes to see someone hungry, right? That really is quite heartbreaking when you see somebody on the street and they're hungry. Even they may be pretending, because there are some professional beggars out there. Still, when you see somebody who is asking for food, the heart just does melt. So we should donate. We should donate prashad. We should give something if we are able to do that. On Monday, in fact, I was shopping for the Wednesday Abhishek. We bought lots of fruits from the market, Croydon Market. So when we went, we got fruits, and then on the way back, I was seeing that there were many people who were begging for food or money. So I was just taking out grapefruits, actually, the biggest thing I could find, and I would offer it to the Lord within a few seconds in my mind, and then I'd offer that to the person. And I think 4 out of the 5 I offered, it took it. And the 5th person said, no, I don't want. That's just fine. So we want to give, but we give the right thing. If you give money to somebody who's addicted to alcohol, then we're encouraging them to drink more alcohol by giving them that money. So we're actually participating in that sin. We're going to incur some sin for doing that. But if we give somebody food, not just ordinary food though, prashad. Prashad means mercy of the Lord. When you give somebody prashad, then you're actually giving them Krishna. You're giving them the Supreme Lord. And them taking that prasad, eating that prasad, will give them some purification that will take them on the spiritual path at some point. It's very, very good for them. It's very good for us as well. So let's analyze those three modes, the charity in the three modes. Charity in the mode of goodness is done as a duty. It's done at the right time, at the right place, and it's given to the right person. It's done as a duty, which means there's no expectation of anything coming back in return. So these are, perhaps you could say, the Bill Gates, maybe, of this world, who can donate millions, perhaps billions of pounds. And as Prabhu said last time, he can maybe help vaccinate the whole world, right? He's not expecting anything back, perhaps a bit of name and fame, perhaps. So that would take you into the mode of passion. If there's an expectation of getting some glory and fame out of this, that, I'm the most charitable person in the world. So if that expectation is there, then of course that shifts it into the mode of good passion. But if there's no expectation, you're just giving. You got and you give as a matter of duty, that I need to help my fellow men and animals and plants, etc. Then that's regarded to be in the mode of goodness. Right time and right place. So, for example, at pilgrimage places, holy places, or you're giving at the right time. On Ekadashi, for example, every Ekadashi we used to fast, especially when our Guru Maharaj was here, we'd give him a donation. During the lunar eclipse or the solar eclipse or at the end of the month, Punam, whatever it might be. So time is important. Going to the temple, the right place, into the hundi. That's a really nice, that's actually transcendental. That's beyond goodness. So, and to a worthy person, spiritual perfection is the consideration. Example of worthy person, qualified Brahmin, Vaishnav, and giving to a poor but unworthy candidate. Such charity does not offer any spiritual advancement. It gives material advancement. And we've been talking about this before. I don't know if Aruna Ben is here. She was there, but I'm not sure where she is. She was explaining how she went through some challenges and she was assisted, and she wanted to donate to the hospital or to the people who helped her so much, which is absolutely fine. That's a natural reaction because one is in the mode of goodness. That's a natural reaction. However, if that's the only, one example, if that's the only thing we do in our life, one charitable act, wonderful. You will go to heaven and enjoy the fruits of doing that charitable act. But a big deal, if you go to heaven, means you're going to come back to earth again when that good karma bank account is finished. So just doing charity in the mode of goodness is not enough. It's good. Naliben, nobody's going to say, don't do charity. Do charity. Give. When you have, you give. But take into consideration that when you give, will I have to come back to enjoy the fruits of giving? And we don't want to do that. We don't want to come back. So we give in a way that there's no material reaction, but there's a spiritual reaction, a spiritual benefit. That's the whole idea of giving from a spiritual point of view. So, and that's unlimited. Unlimited, because in this world, there is hardly any knowledge about the self. And when we make people aware of the self, then we can do that. We can help do that by paying for books to be printed, to be distributed, which talk about the self. That's the highest possible charitable event one can do. Reminding one of who is your father. He's a very rich man who's waiting for you, and he will take care of all your miseries, and he's missing you, and you just don't know it, who he is. So I'm going to reveal who he is. So that's the highest possible charity. It's not that we have something and we hoard it. We're worried about, if I give it, then I'll get some karma which I'll have to either enjoy or suffer. No, we give, but we give in the right way so that we get spiritual benefit. Charity in the mode of passion is where we expect some return. We're going to give charity, but you put my name on a plaque somewhere, tell the whole world. Or it might be that I will get some fruitive results, i.e., I'll be taken to heaven at the end of my life, and I'll enjoy the fruits of giving. Or we give in a grudging mood. Oh, this person's come to ask, and here it is, take it. Don't come back again. That would be considered in the mode of passion. And then we have the final mode of ignorance. So this charity is where one gives at an improper time, to an unworthy person with no proper attention, no proper respect, at an impure place. So somebody's begging outside a liquor shop middle of the night, and you give them money. You know what's going to happen. That's going to be used to buy more alcohol, and all we've done is assisted somebody to become even more sinful. So that's considered to be in the mode of ignorance, and that will have a negative impact on us. So, Madhusan Babu, like to share any experiences or realizations?
Well, sorry, I had to go. I had a phone call, from my daughter. So I had to, But it's good, this part of Bhagavad Gita, makes us realize that sometimes we act out of some ignorance or in tamogun, rajogun, but we have to try and act in satogun. So, but sometimes we don't know how to discriminate it, And in our everyday life, we just end up doing it. And like Prabhupada says, he says, in one of the purports, Prabhupada says, charity is also sometimes given under some obligation. Sometimes you're obliged to give, or at the request of a superior, somebody at the top says, oh, you should give in charity here, and this and that. So I know that because I'm under a bit of pressure. My family members don't understand that they have not studied Bhagavad Gita like I have, and we have like this now. And they're encouraging me, and my brother wanted to, this is like my father's money and all that, and then they said, we should give some money to the Beirut where this explosion took place. People are suffering there. I said, why, I mean, just out of reaction. Sometimes you don't have to react. Some disaster happens and all that. So I was telling them, I say, you don't react to things in life. You respond to things in life. Think about it a bit, Just don't act out of on the spontaneous kind of reaction. Sometimes we feel under pressure like that and having to do that. We've all done it. But, here we're being careful. If you want to help somebody, we got to know how to help. It's like you see somebody drowning, and instead of throwing them a lifeboat or a life jacket, you end up throwing them a banana, I mean, you don't know how to help that person. So why are you doing something? So first of all, learn how best to help somebody. And that's why this part of the Bhagavad Gita teaches us to become a bit more intelligent, a bit more responsive, and do things with responsibility. So we have to bear the fruits of our actions anyway. So you have to be a bit careful. And this part, your slides and everything quite clearly shows, where charity, even penances, even our speech, and everything should be in the mode of goodness, at least, So, yeah, like, we shouldn't be speaking out words that hurt other people unnecessarily, out of anger, and this is our reaction, but just be careful. And those who are, in this platform studying this Bhagavad Gita with us and going through it, hopefully they benefit by at least realizing. So it's good. This part is really, I've always found it interesting,
Practical.
Yeah, thank you.
Practical.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you for sharing that, Madhusan.
Yeah.
So, Naniben, are you with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the time, sorry. Is it okay to speak something?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah. When there's a natural disaster, like earthquake or flooding or major disaster or an accident or whatever, then various charities come up and they ask to donate. So how do we respond to that?
Good question. Very good question. Should we respond? How do we respond? One should understand, if we do respond, there will be a reaction, right? And the question is, what type of reaction we want?
Yes.
The example, the Beirut example, because that's very topical. If we give for water and water or clothes and things like that, we should understand, yes, I'm giving, but there will be a reaction to this. I do want to give, I want to help, but I'll get a positive karmic reaction in the future. But I will have to remain in this world to enjoy that. So rather than do that, let me seek out in Beirut, are there any devotees? I mean, it's a little bit harder work, Naniben.
Yeah.
Are there any devotees? Are they doing food for life? What I've always found, wherever there's problems, there's devotees there who are helping. Like there was the Kutch earthquake. Nepal, yeah. Everywhere you will find devotees will suddenly, like in New Zealand, there was an earthquake a little while back. And the devotees were part of that. Their building got completely demolished. But what were the devotees doing? They were on the street every single day distributing free food to those who needed it. And they were lauded as how selfless they are. They themselves are in trouble, but they're helping others. How amazing is that? So if one wants to really help in a concrete, in a spiritual way, it's a little bit harder work sometimes to find how to do that. But if it's possible, then that's a much better route. So in the case of Beirut, are there devotees who are doing food, prasad distribution? If we can find something out like that and assist those devotees, that will give us, one, it'll give us a satisfaction that we did something where it was most needed. But second, it'll give us a satisfaction that we are taking one step closer on our spiritual journey to the Supreme Lord.
Yeah.
It might be a little hard-hearted to say, look, don't do any, we would never stop anybody from doing charitable work, right? That's a fact. But just understand, if I do this, there will be a reaction and I will have to enjoy the fruit of that reaction.
I asked somebody that once you do your charity, for example, we would have to, even though it's done in a mode of goodness, we'll have to come back to enjoy the fruit. And they asked me, if you're doing good to somebody, what sort of karmic reaction you are performing that you need to come back? And I couldn't answer that.
Basically, you will be born in a very rich family. You will be born in an aristocratic family. Or yes, if it was such amazing charity, you would go to heaven and you would enjoy in heaven for thousands of years. But then when that good karma finishes, the good karma bank account, you're back onto earth again. So yes, the reaction is you can enjoy heavenly delights. Even on earth, you will enjoy there'll be no want for anything. You will have everything you want. Prosperous life. But it's still in this world. Whether it's a golden handcuff, a bronze handcuff, or a iron handcuff, is still a handcuff. You're still handcuffed to this world.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I mean, and also the reactions, and you don't forget that, you know, when people are desperate and we do have to help, and then we are not expecting any kind of result, because ultimately, you know, we realizing that, you know, Krishna is ultimately the doer. We surrender our fruits of actions as well in doing karma yoga, as we understand, you know, karma and akarma. So hopefully Krishna will sort of take that into consideration. But if it's a good positive result, then that's something not to be discouraged or anything. But obviously we're not acting in mode of ignorance. And as ultimately we're trying to understand Krishna more and more. And as Prabhupada says, you know, that this is material world. There's always a disaster somewhere. There was a train crash the other day, and then there's this happening, that happening, always happening something. This is the nature of material world. And it's you know, and if we want to help anything, then it's like trying to, you know, a diseased tree or a diseased plant, and you're trying to water every leaf to save the plant. It's just can't be done. You know, you just have to go to the root. The root of the problem is where, you know, if you start watering the root of the tree, then the tree might be saved. And the root is Krishna ultimately. You know, and when we start to worship Krishna, give Krishna's knowledge, give Krishna's prasad, you know, and guide people towards Krishna consciousness, and, you know, then that will be a better effort, at least, you know. So we're trying to act in the mode of goodness, you know, and transcend that and do it in pure goodness if we can. Like there were disasters happening, you know, when Prabhupada came from Bharat, you know, the whole India was in turmoil. There was partition had just happened. Gandhi's non-violent had backfired, and instead of non-violence, there was, you know, so much violence, the millions died, you know, as a result. And Prabhupada was even trying to warn Gandhi that, you know, your understanding of Bhagavad Gita, you're misleading the people, you know, it's in the, and the consequences of that, well, their millions died as a result. So these things are always going on. Prabhupada, you know, alone couldn't have done anything, but at least he was saved by his Guru Maharaj in one sense, out of the illusion of trying to free India, rather than that, you know, give this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and that's what he did to the rest of the world. And, you know, he's saved so many souls from going to hellish place. But then again, you know, even simple prayers for those people is good, because we are praying to Krishna to help all those poor people and suffering people. And that's the nature of a Vaishnava, you know, they you know, par dukhe, you know, parai dukhe, you know, is like as if it's my suffering. So we understand, you know, the suffering of others we cannot tolerate. So we want everybody to come free from all the suffering, but ultimately we don't know how to help, but we're learning, you know. Yeah.
That's good. One more point, Naniben, is that if one does charity in a mode of goodness, one gets a very positive reaction in the next life. One will get opulence, have a lot of riches. The problem with that is that generally a rich person becomes quite arrogant, you know. I am the doer. I have by my own strength achieved all this. Not understanding necessarily that in your last life you did something amazing. So Krishna has given you, the benefit of your actions in your past life. So you're wealthy because of that reason. And that pride is like a problem, because the person who becomes very proud and arrogant starts, insulting others, and he starts incurring bad karma, if you like. And in the next life, he might end up being a poor person. So there is a disadvantage of doing karma, doing donations like that, because in your next life, you don't understand why you've got so much wealth, except you're thinking, it's my own power. But it's not.
Question, Prabhuji.
Yes.
If like someone's come to Vaishnavism and he was practicing a lot of pious activities and did loads of charity work, can he on like a really holy day like Janamastami say, hey Krishna, I wasn't aware of who you were, now I am, I wish to surrender and give all the pious activity onto your lotus feet, so that I don't really want to come back again and again. I rather it all be used for devotional service.
Right. So just before we answer that question, I just wanted to go back to Nani Ben. Are you okay with those comments and answers, Nani Ben? Okay, she might be busy. Pitambar, are you basically saying, whatever I've done in the past, now I've come to you, Krishna, now I've come to you, but whatever I've done in the past, please accept that at your lotus feet as acts of piety?
Yes.
Interesting question. Backdating the pious activities.
No, because now I know of Radha and Krishna.
Yeah. I know where you're coming from. You've done the act. Oh no, Krishna will always, he'll take it into account. He'll definitely take it into account.
Because I think once you've surrendered to Krishna, everything bad or good is like negated.
Yeah.
He doesn't look at that. You surrendered to him, so he'll take you now, without any good or bad.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, brilliant.
Once you surrender to Krishna, like he says, sarva dharma parityaja.
Yes,
so,
yes, yes, that's it.
That's in the next chapter, isn't it? So we have to come to that crunch bit.
Well, actually, I think it's lovely timing. Jai Shri Hari Krishna.
Good question, Pitambar. Good question. Thank you for that. And we'll cover that in a little bit more detail when we do that. Sarva dharma parityaja. Very nice. Thank you very much. We shall. Anybody else? Any questions or any comments? Otherwise, we can progress on to the Nashinga Kavach. We've got one more theme to cover in chapter 17. Won't do it today because it's quite a deep one. We'll do it tomorrow. And actually, just before we get to tomorrow, before we do the Nashinga Kavach, before devotees disappear, we just